It's time for Orchard Skills. The Internet of Things, IoT for short, is one of the most prominent tech trends to have emerged in recent years. In simple terms, it encompasses everything connected to the Internet, but it is increasingly being used to define objects that talk to each other. Simply, the Internet of Things is made up of devices from simple sensors to smartphones and wearables connected together. By combining these connected devices with automation systems, it is possible to gather information, analyze it, and create an action helping someone with a particular task or learning from a process. It's about networks. It's about devices. It's about data. Today on Orchard Skills, we will be setting up an Internet of Things development environment on a Raspberry Pi 4 utilizing Orchard Core. This environment will enable us to create and test run Internet of Things devices that we will be creating in future videos. Please stay with us and we'll get started. Welcome back. As of December 2020, Orchard Skills has been creating content on Orchard Core for the past year. Our very first video, which has been the most popular, was uploaded to YouTube on December 24th, 2019. It currently has almost 10,000 views, thanks to you. Please remember to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to receive notifications. With your help, we can get to 1K subscribers and beyond. This last month, we have been busy creating exciting new content for the new year. A new series is being planned to concentrate on utilizing Orchard Core with the Internet of Things devices. There is no better platform for creating these devices, especially with the feature-rich .NET Core Internet of Things library. In order to create great content and take it to the next level, we need your help. If you would like to see more content like this with Orchard Core, please consider supporting Orchard Skills through Patreon. Go to patreon.com/orchardskills. Selecting any membership level is greatly appreciated, but if you become an exclusive bonus content level member, you will receive exclusive access to high-quality detailed bonus content, and a roadmap on what content we are working on next. In order to do the Internet of Things project, you will need some hardware. So the first thing you'll need is a Raspberry Pi. This is a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B, and I would suggest a 4 GB. The reason is that the 8 GB is out, but Raspbian 64-bit is still in beta and doesn't have all the features, and I don't see that being completed soon, so I think it's best to pick up the 4 GB version. Another thing you'd want is a case for your Raspberry Pi, and one that will cool the Pi if you decide to overclock, and I suggest that you overclock. It is a lot nicer. I overclocked mine at 2 GHz, and with this case, the Argon 1 has a power button, does the power management, and it's a nice metal case, and it has a back end that comes off so you can get access to the GPIO pins, and it also comes with a fan. This is a great value. Another device which is handy is just a USB powered hub, so that way you can connect it to your Raspberry Pi, but you don't have to worry about drawing power from the Raspberry Pi with your devices. So one device that I utilize is the SSD, and I suggest picking up a Samsung T7 2 terabyte SSD. And with that, it's nice to have a camera, so you don't want to miss the Orchard Core community meetings, and so you can actually utilize this and maybe do a demo of your devices at the community meeting. And of course, you'll need some speakers, right? So speakers are nice so you can hear things. So another thing I suggest is a Raspberry Pi starter kit, and then also we'll be utilizing the Raspberry Pi sensor kit. All of these items are listed in the video YouTube description. So the very first utility you want to get, which I think is amazing, is the Raspberry Pi Imager. And if you go to raspberrypi.org/software, you can see down here there's a blue download button that turns to red. And so go ahead and click on that. And this will download the Raspberry Pi Imager. Okay, once that's downloaded, open that. And here we go. Let's go ahead and hit the install button. And that's it. Let's go ahead and hit the finish button, and as soon as that, it should run the Raspberry Pi Imager. So now what you want to do is you want to select on and choose an operating system. So let's go ahead and click that button. It'll give you a list of all the operating systems that currently run on the Raspberry Pi. And if you go down further, you can actually erase your device or even use a very own custom image. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and select on the Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit. And the reason why we're not selecting the 64-bit because it's still in beta and it needs some work. It's missing a lot of different devices like the camera features and such. So let's click on Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit. And so let's select the Samsung T7. And with that, we click on Write. And then we say, all existing data on the Samsung T7 device will be erased. Are you sure you want to continue? And we'll say, yes, we do. So let's go click on Yes. And this will take a few minutes. But since it's an SSD, it goes pretty quick. Okay, now it's verifying. Okay, great. It says Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit has been written to Samsung T7 device. You can now remove the device from the reader. Okay, great. This is ready to plug into our Raspberry Pi. Turn on the Raspberry Pi. Okay, resize the file system. And rebooting. Okay, the Raspberry Pi booted up. Let's hit Next. Let's select US. Let's select Denver. Click on Use English Language. Click on Use Keyboard. Hit Next. Setting up location. Please wait. Okay. For the password, just leave blank. And let's go ahead and click on Next. And hit Next. And now searching for networks. Just wait. Go ahead and select your network. And hit Next. Then enter in your Wi-Fi password. And hit Next. Okay. Hit Next. Wait for your Wi-Fi to be connected. Now it's updating the Raspberry Pi. Downloading updates. Please wait. More downloading updates. Please wait. Installing updates. Please wait. Almost done with this section. Okay, the system is up to date. Open up a browser. Let's close this. And let's go to orchardskills.com. Maximize our window. All right, let's go ahead and click on GitHub. Let's click on the repositories. Let's click on orchards.raspberry Pi. And let's scroll down. Let's go to the overclock settings here. Let's copy sudo nano /boot/config.txt. Open up a terminal session. Move it over here. Expand this out a little bit. And let's go ahead and paste that in there. And hit enter. Let's scroll down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and add a comment. Overclock settings. Let's go ahead and paste or copy them. And then go ahead and paste. And do a Control O to write output. Then it can Control X. And let's go ahead and X out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. And let's hit OK. And let's go ahead and hit the restart button. Okay, the Raspberry Pi is rebooted and ready. Let's go and click on the browser. Let's go ahead and enter orchardskills.com. Click on the GitHub icon. Go to repositories. Click on orchardcore.raspberry Pi. Let's scroll down a little bit further. Let's go ahead and install VS Code. Click on the link and it will download the Debian package. It's downloading now. Go ahead and hit the Keep button and click on the link to open the file and click Install. Enter Raspberry for your password and hit OK. It's installing VS Code. Okay, great. Let's exit out of here. Hit back. Let's go install .NET Core. It's downloading .NET SDK. Okay, it's done. Let's go ahead and show in folders. Let's right click on the downloads and say open in terminal. Exit out of there. Okay, let's expand this out a little bit. Let's go ahead and copy the first line. Be careful not to copy the carriage return, otherwise it'll add that as well. Go ahead and paste it into your terminal. Hit enter. Okay, great. Now let's cd to our home directory. Let's do a print working directory, and you can see we're at /home/pi. And let's do a ls-la to list all the files. And you'll notice here that we have a .bash rc. Let's go ahead and modify that. So let's do nano space .bash rc. Okay, great. Let's go down to the bottom of the file. Hit enter. Let's add a comment. .NET configuration. Let's grab these two lines here, copy those. Go ahead and paste those. Hit enter. Control Alt to write out the file, then Control X. List out the file just to make sure everything got entered properly, and do a cat.bashrc. And you can see those got appended to the file. Let's go back to our README. Install Microsoft Teams. Go ahead and hit keep. Let's go ahead and open that. Click on install. Enter Raspberry for the password. Okay, great. We have Microsoft Teams installed. So now let's go and customize our desktop here. Let's go ahead and install a theme here. The Arc theme with Papyrus and Breeze. Okay. So let's also install NeoFetch, and this is a utility that displays the system information about your Raspberry Pi. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and run it and show you. Type in NeoFetch, enter, and we have Raspbian Buster 10, Raspbian Pi 4, Model B, Rev 1.1, kernel 5.479, uptime 10 minutes, package 1400, LXDE, OpenBox, and we're running at 2 gigahertz. Okay, let's go ahead and customize our desktop here. So click on Main Menu Editor. Go into Preferences, and let's just go ahead and enable all the different settings here. Hit OK. Let's go back into the settings, Preferences, and now let's go into Theme and Appearance. Let's move that over here. Let's select Arc Dark. And for the icon theme, let's go ahead and select on Papyrus. And for the mouse cursor, let's go ahead and select on Breeze. And for the window border, let's go ahead and select Arc Dark again. Hit Apply. And then Close. Let's right click on the taskbar and click on Panel Settings, and let's move this over here and let's select Bottom, and let's increase our icons to 48. That's the height, and this is the icon size to 48. Alright, let's click on the App Panel. Let's do an add. Let's go ahead and select on CPU Temperature Monitor, hit Add, and hit Close. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and change our desktop background, and let's select sand.jpg. There we go. We have our entire desktop themed. Isn't that nice? Let's go back to Orchard Skills, go back to the GitHub repository. Click on Repositories, select orchardcore.raspberry Pi, and let's go ahead and copy that. Let's create a new terminal session. Let's expand this out. Let's go CD to Documents, Enter, and let's go ahead and create a directory, mkdir space GitHub. Enter. CD to GitHub. And let's go ahead and do a git clone and then our repository. Paste that in and hit enter. Okay, great. We got the repository cloned. Let's CD into orchardskills.orchardcore.raspberry Pi. And let's do a code dot to start VS Code. Okay, VS Code is launched. Let's maximize that. Get rid of that. Get rid of our welcome. Let's click on Add Extensions. And let's go ahead and add the C# extension. Hit the Install button. Okay, the extension's installed. Let's exit out of there. Go back to the files. Go back to the terminal. Move that up here. Expand it out a little bit. PWD to display the print working directory. We're in the home directory. And let's go ahead to Documents, CD Documents, and then CD GitHub, and then CD orchardskills.orchardcore.raspberry Pi. And let's go into the main project, and let's do a .NET build. You can see it's starting to build, and this will take a couple minutes. So time to go get a cup of coffee and relax. And you might see a few errors, but just go ahead and let it go through. It'll retry, but right now it's restoring all the NuGet packages, which takes a long time because there's a lot of NuGet packages in Orchard Core. And you can see we got a timeout, but just wait, be patient. And there we go, we got a successful build. So now let's do a .NET run. Let's go ahead and open up a browser here, and let's go to localhost 5000. This takes a little bit, so be patient. Okay, great. We got our Orchard Core setup page. Let's go ahead and enter our site name, Orchard Skills. Let's select our recipe, which will be blog. Let's go ahead and enter our username and our email address and our password, otherwise known as credentials. Let's go ahead and hit the Finish Setup button. This takes a little while. And there we go. We have our blog theme running. Let's X out of there. Let's click on the blog post. And there's our blog post. We can scroll down. Scroll back up. Click on the About page. And there's our About page. Scroll down. Scroll back up. Let's go into the, select on Admin, go into the dashboard. This takes a little bit too. Enter our credentials, username and password, and hit login. And there we go, there's the dashboard. Let's click on blog. Let's click on the blog post. And there you go, there's the blog post entry. So we can modify that. Let's go to configuration and go into features. And there's all our features enabled. Scroll down. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and X out of here. We can show you go into program.cs. Here's our program.cs. Here's our startup.cs file. Here's our project file. Here's our solution file. Here's our NuGet config file. And here's our README file. Scroll down. And for the last thing, let's go ahead and install the Argon 1 utility to shut down gracefully. So let's paste that into our terminal, hit enter, and that'll install the Argon 1 utilities for power management and shutdown. Okay, great. And all we have to do is hit the button on the case for 3 seconds. And we're shut down. And to recap, we created a development environment using the Raspberry Pi single board computer and using Orchard Core as the interface. We installed the Raspberry Pi imager. We created an install boot image for Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit on the SSD, set up overclock settings to 2 GHz, installed Visual Studio Code, installed .NET Core, installed Microsoft Teams, configured a custom desktop, installed NeoFetch for system information, compiled an Orchard Core web application, ran the Orchard Core web application, and selected the blog theme, logged into the dashboard, and browsed around. And finally, we set up the Argon One utilities drivers for power management and shutdown. Now, if you missed or didn't understand something, that's okay. There's a detailed blog post that describes all the steps. There is also a GitHub repository with the complete source code. All this information is in the video description. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up icon. Also, please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get a notification when I release the next video. Thank you for watching.